creation is finished. Everything that could be created already has been created. So you're asking, well, how do I experience it for myself? Well, that is the question of manifestation, right? So creation is finished. All that you could ever be, all that you ever have been, all that you ever will be is available. And to experience it for yourself, you must manifest it, right? All right, welcome back to another episode of Daily Neville. I am your host, Josiah Brandt, and Daily Neville is a show all about making Neville Goddard's teachings easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to apply in 20 minutes or less. Today we are continuing with episode 10. This is chapter 10 of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, and this chapter is titled Creation. Neville begins this chapter with a quote from Isaiah 46:10, and that quote is, "I am God, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things that are not yet done." Creation, Neville writes, is finished. Creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness. For the entire contents of all time and all space, while experienced in a time sequence, actually coexist in an infinite and eternal now. Right, so this is the idea of there is no past, there is no future. The past and the future are imaginary, right? All there is now, the ever-present, perfect, eternal now, the present moment, right? Creation is finished. All that you could ever dream of is available now, right? It's all right here, right now. The entire contents of all time and all space are here now. In other words, Neville writes, all that you have ever been or ever will be, in fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be, exists now. This is what is meant by creation, and the statement that creation is finished means that nothing is ever to be created. It is only to be manifested. All right, so what's the difference between creating something and manifesting something, right? Well, technically, creation is finished. Everything that could be created already has been created. So you're asking, well, how do I experience it for myself? Well, that is the question of manifestation, right? So creation is finished. All that you could ever be, all that you ever have been, all that you ever will be is available. And to experience it for yourself, you must manifest it, right? Manifest it into this time and space, manifest it into the now. What is called creativeness is only becoming aware of what already is. And we talked about this when we spoke about awareness, right? We said that all that's ever happening in any moment is your awareness is expanding, right? When you go to school, when you take a class, when you listen to a video such as this one, what is happening in this moment is your awareness of a topic is expanding, right? So you're becoming aware of something that already is, right? My video does not create a new idea, right? The idea already existed, but your awareness of it is expanding. So that is creativeness. It's becoming aware of what already is. You are simply become aware of increasing portions of what already exists, right? Increasing portions. You're expanding your awareness of what already exists. It's not that something new is popping into existence. It's that you're becoming aware of something that already exists. The fact that you can never be anything that you are not already, or experience anything not already existing, explains the experience of having an acute feeling of having heard before what is being said, or having met before the person being met for the first time, or having seen before a place or thing being seen for the first time. Now, Neville doesn't use this term here, but he's speaking about deja vu, right? You ever have those deja vu moments where suddenly you're like, I've been here before. I've said this before. I've heard you say this before. I've met this person before. I've been to this place before, even though as far as I know, it's the first time. I have this weird inkling, this weird feeling that somehow I've done it before. Well, the way that we explain that is that creation exists, and we cannot experience anything that has not already been in existence, right? We can never be anything that we have not already been. We cannot experience anything that has not already been in existence, right? So that explains this idea of deja vu. The whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it. Just love this. It's italicized in this book. It's a key point. I'm going to read it again. The whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and greater portions of it. The whole of creation already exists in you, and it is your destiny to expand your awareness, to become aware of more of it, right? Creation is already finished. You're not creating something new. You're becoming more aware of that which is already within you. If creation is finished, Neville writes, and all events are taking place now, the question that springs naturally to the mind is, what determines your time track? That is, what determines the events which you encounter, right? So if all of creation is finished and all events are taking now, how do we account for what we're experiencing now versus what we experienced yesterday, or what we experience tomorrow, or what we have yet to experience? And the answer is, Neville writes, your concept of yourself. This is where all these ideas weave together, right? Creation is finished. Everything that could ever possibly exist already exists and is already within me. So how do I determine what I will experience of this finished creation? My self-concept. My self-concept. I will experience in the world out there my self-concept. The world out there is a reflection of my self-concept. I am experiencing myself, right? The whole of creation is within me, and it's mediated through my concept, right? So whatever I'm aware of out of all of the creation that exists, whatever I'm presently aware of, that is what I will experience. That is what I'll push out into the world of form, the world of circumstance to experience. Concepts determine the route that attention follows. Here is a good test to prove this fact. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. You will observe that as long as you remain faithful to your assumption, so long will your attention be confronted with images clearly related to that assumption. Have you tried this? As long as you're remaining faithful to your assumption, right? Remaining faithful to the assumption that you are the man, the woman, the human that you desire to be, you will notice that the images that run across your mind's eye are aligned and related to that assumption, right? So what he's saying here is that your concepts determine the route that attention flows and follows, right? So your concept of yourself, if you're in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have a high concept of yourself, right? And so thus your attention is upon a high concept of yourself, and you are confronted with images in your mind's eye that relate to your high concept of yourself. Try this. You'll notice it. I can speak from experience. This is exactly what happens when I'm in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and I'm sustaining that feeling. I notice that the thoughts and the feelings and the ideas that fleet across my mind's eye are related to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It literally is carving the path that my attention follows. For example, Neville writes, if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. Friends congratulate you, tell you how lucky you are. Others are envious and critical. From there, your attention goes to larger offices, bigger bank balances, and many other similarly related events. Persistence in this assumption will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assumed, right? So it starts by following your self-concept, right? Your attention, your energy starts to flow along the path carved out by your self-concept. And if you remain in that groove, right? You carve the groove of your self-concept, your desired self-concept, and you carve that groove, and now your attention is flowing along, kind of like rivers and tributaries, right? The source is your energy, the source is your attention, right? Your attention is currency. It's the most valuable currency in the whole universe. And you're carving this river, carving this tributary, carving this path for that attention to flow down. And that path is your self-concept. And if you follow that river, if you follow that path of your concept down to the end and you're sustaining, right? Your attention is remaining in, carved in that groove, right? Then the world of form, the world outside of you, is going to reflect back to you the evidence of the state that you have sustained your attention upon. Persistence in this assumption, Neville writes, will result in actually experiencing, in fact, right, the hardened world of form, that which you assumed. The same is true regarding any concept. The same is true regarding any concept. Now, this is something that we don't talk about a lot in these creation circles, right? So we talk a lot about the feeling of the wish fulfilled, right? But what about the feelings of the wish unfulfilled, right? What about that state? The lack and limitation states, right? The focusing on what we don't want. This creative power does not discriminate, right? If we sustain the feeling of not having what we desire to have, if we sustain the feeling of living in lack, in limitation, and want, right? Trying, it's a fun word, trying, right? As Yoda says, there is no try, do or do not, right? But how often do we get stuck in a state of trying to get? I'm trying to get somewhere, right? That is a state, that is a concept, and we can get stuck there. And this creative power, which does not discriminate, will also harden into form, harden into fact in the external world, evidence of the state that we are assuming. And this is whether it's the one that we desire to assume or the one that we don't desire to assume. Whatever we're assuming, that's the delineation, right? That's what determines it. This is why we are manifesting all of the time anyways, right? Manifesting isn't something that you do on a special occasion. We are manifesting all of the time, always, right? So focus on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, right? Focus on that groove, focus on sustaining that flow of the most valuable currency you have, your attention, on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Invest in that way. The same is true regarding any concept, Neville says. If your concept of yourself is that you are a failure, you would encounter in your imagination a whole series of incidents in conformance to that concept, right? So if you believe that you're a failure, you're going to experience confirmation that you are a failure. Thus, it is clearly seen how you, by your concept of yourself, determine your present, determine what you're living in right now, right? By your concept of yourself. That is, Neville writes, the particular portion of creation which you now experience, and your future. That is the particular portion of creation which you will experience, right? Because creation is finished. It's all within you now. And how you determine what you experience of the finished creation comes down to your self-concept, believing that you are the man, the woman, the human that you desire to be. I have a prompt for you. In the comments below, describe in one sentence, who is the man, the woman, the human that you desire to be, meaning the man, the woman, the human that you are. Describe it in one sentence for me. I cannot wait to read these. All of you beautiful people responding in this way, inspiring yourself, inspiring others by setting a standard, a high standard of a high self-concept. Tap the like button to help other people find this video and subscribe to this channel so that you get Daily Neville tomorrow. That's all for this episode, episode 10 Creation, the power of awareness. Imagine wisely, my friends, and I'll see you in the next.